I mean, anybody appears cocky that puts up results and then is happy about it. People aren't used to that because most people don't produce any results. So they're used to saying, well, I don't produce any results because I'm humble. So when you actually produce results, no matter what you say about it, no matter how nice you are, no matter how kind you are, no matter how quiet you are about it, they're going to say you're fucking cocky, dude. There's nothing wrong with being cocky either as long as you back it up. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It adds some spice to your life. It's good to have some swagger. It's fun. It's fun to walk around like you got a 30-foot dick. Like, that's fun shit. It's only because you're producing results. And so it's okay to feel cocky as long as you can still be humble in the process. And people are like, well, you can't do that. Bullshit. It's confidence in game time and humble in preparation, okay? When I walk out on the field, dude, I know what I've put in. I know the work I've done. I'm gonna walk out there with some swagger. I'm gonna put some points on the board. You ain't gonna fucking touch me, okay? And if you do, I'm gonna run you the fuck over, all right? Humble is studying the film, preparing, learning about your opponent, practicing the skills, doing the drills, and doing all that shit with the proper intensity and an intent. So, like, you can be cocky in execution and humble in preparation, but most people's minds are too simple to understand that. So all they see is, you know, Conor McGregor walking out with his swag, right? Oh, I fucking hate that guy because he's cocky. Well, the reason he's cocky is because he works his ass off behind closed doors and he knows what he's bringing to the table. And there's nothing wrong with that. That just rubs people who don't do shit the wrong way. But remember, that's who they watch. Those are the people they enjoy watching. Who do people love to watch? Oh, they love to watch people they don't like because they're cocky, because that's something they've never had. They wish they had that. They wish they could walk in a room with a strut, with a three-piece suit, looking like a fucking pimp, knowing that you're gonna walk out in the fucking ring and beat some dude's ass and you're gonna walk back to your yacht. They wish they could have that, but they lack the courage, they lack the work ethic, they lack the understanding of what it means to be that kind of a person. So you can't expect a mediocre mind to understand a mind that is wired for greatness. It will never happen. So how do you know if you're cocky? You're cocky if you don't think you have anything to learn. You're cocky if you think you're great and you're not putting in the work. You're cocky if you think you're getting good and it's because you're just good. It's not the work that you put in, right? That's too cocky. But as long as you're putting in the work, as long as you're putting up the results, as long as you're doing your thing, bro, people are going to interpret it cocky, so you might as well enjoy it anyway. Celebrate for 24 hours, get back to work. That's my rule. That's champion rule, bro. You ever seen Nick Saban do an interview, Bill Belichick do an interview after they won national championship or Super Bowl? You know what they're talking about already?
What's next, coach?
They're talking about next year. They're talking about waking up tomorrow and getting to work on next year. That's what champions do. That's why they're fucking champions, because they celebrate in a very short time. Losers will win one time. You know, they get the MVP of the high school football game. They're talking about it 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? That's what losers do. So 24-hour rule on celebrating, 24-hour rule on talking shit, 24-hour rule to feel good about your win, and then it's back to work so that you can keep being cocky. I like people with swag. Everybody likes people with swag because it makes you feel like you could have some swag. The only people that don't like it are people that are totally weak, they're the first group of people that I described on question 1. They're the people who have given up on their dreams. They turn their nose up at anybody who's doing shit more than them. They say shit like, it must be nice, you know, I'm sure that's the great way to live. They say all kinds of dumb shit, and it's because they fucking quit on themselves, dude. That's the reality. You can't expect those people to ever understand you. And your friends and your family, they're the worst ones. They're the ones that have known you your whole life. They're gonna hate on you the most because they see you changing, they see you breaking out of the mold, and they're like, oh, well, you're different now. No shit, that's the point. The point is for me to get different. The point is for me to not be like you. That's why I'm doing this, because when I look at you and I look at the way you live and I look at the way you guys are miserable, I don't want that for myself. I want to be better. I want to put in more work. I want to be great at what I do. I want to be fit. I want to make money. I want to do all this shit, and you don't. So thanks for motivating me. Okay, so like your friends and family are the first ones that are going to hate when you first step out. You think that those people are going to celebrate you, they're going to have your back. they're gonna push you down the path, but that's rarely the case, bro, with people that you've known your whole life, because they always see you as that old version of you. You know, they don't see you as that new version of you. You know how many people in my life see me as the version of me that existed 5, 10, 15 years ago, that I'm not even close to that anymore? You see what I'm saying? So your identity in those people's eyes is very small and limited, just like their identity is. And when you start breaking that identity and you start moving forward and you start progressing and you get better and you get in shape and you start making some money and you start having some success, they hate it. Because they realize, fuck, they could have done the same, but they were too lazy. They didn't have the belief in themselves. They didn't want to do the work. They were too afraid. And they got to live with those decisions for their whole life. And they're bitter at themselves. They're mad at themselves for giving up on their original dream to accept their reality and lie about it as if it is their dream. And you're actually going out and doing something. So you can expect that. You're going to get more of it, but you're going to get it the worst from your family and friends. So I wouldn't, as long as you're doing the work, and as long as you're putting up results, and as long as you realize that you always have a lot to get better on and a lot to improve, and you're willing to do that work, and you don't think that you're great just because you're you, it's okay to feel good about yourself. You know, when you look at how people's ego affects them in a negative way, you know, imagine a bell curve, all right? And on the left side of the bell curve where you're at the low point, you know, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. You don't know what to do. You don't know the skills. You don't know the moves. You don't know the work ethic. You don't know shit. So you know that you don't know shit. So you're willing to start to take action. Okay, I don't know what to do. I don't know. Tell me what to do and I'll do it, right? So they do this. They start doing the things. They take the actions. They take the habits of successful people and they start to move up the bell curve. And they start to improve. And they improve and keep improving and keep improving and keep improving. And then for most people, what happens is they get to a point where they forget about all this work that they put in and they start believing that the success they are seeing is just because they're special. It's like reading your own news clippings. I'm great because I'm great. And that's how you can always identify the people who are about to fall on their fucking face. When they start talking about how they're the best ever, or they're the best, or they're better than everybody else, blah, 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 they're about to eat shit, all right? Because what happens is they start to believe that it's them instead of remembering that it's actually the actions that they've been taking and they are living in the results of those actions. And then what happens is they stop doing the actions because they don't think they have to, because they think they're just great. And then they fall down the fucking bell curve real fast the other side, okay? And then they start back to a point where they're like, fuck, I don't know what just happened. I just lost everything. I lost all my friends. I lost all my money. I lost all my... And then they're like, fuck, I don't know what to do. And then eventually they come to the conclusion of, well, I'll start doing what I did before. So they start taking the actions before and they start to see results. And then they get to a point where they're doing real good again, and they will either have learned the lesson the first time or they'll repeat what they did the first time. So they'll either say to themselves, hey, I got here last time and I quit doing the work and I lost everything, and they'll keep doing the work, which allows them to continue to escalate up the curve without peaking, right? But if they get to the top again and they start saying, oh, I'm great, and they stop doing the shit, they're gonna lose again. And so most people live their lives in this wave of success and failure, success and failure. And the reason that they live their lives in that wave is because they can't ever figure out that it's their own ego getting in their way of their humility, understanding that they have much more to learn and many more skills to go. And all you got to do to really remember this is just compare yourself to the best in the world ever. Like, are you winning compared to Bezos? Are you winning compared to Elon? Are you winning compared to Phil Knight? That's the questions I ask me. That's what I ask myself. Like, when I start feeling like I'm doing good, I look at fucking Bezos and I'm like, yeah, I ain't doing shit.
Still got some work to do.
I ain't doing shit. And then I get back to work. This is why I use the language I use. Day one, right? A long way to go. When people say, oh, congratulations on all the success. I'm like, bro, shut the fuck up. I haven't even started. You know what I mean? Like, I hate that shit. It's poisonous to progress. Hearing, congratulations and believing you're successful. Like, dude, when people start calling themselves great and calling themselves successful, you know they're on the down, bro. It's only a matter of time, because they're losing the ability to understand that they really aren't anything. They're a speck of dust in the grand scheme. There are millions of people who have done more than you, who have come from worse than you. So for you to think that you're great is an inaccurate representation of self. See what I'm saying? So you just have to be careful for that. Remember, the life that you're currently living is the result of the actions that the old you has been taking for a long time. If the new you doesn't continue to take those actions, you won't be living in that state for very much longer. See what I'm saying?